Welcome to Marlborough, the heart of Aotearoa's wine industry. Marlborough is responsible for 80% of the grapes harvested in Aotearoa. This includes 362,000 tonnes of Sauvignon. From vineyard to the glass, this industry is about building to the future, trusting in the inspirational people that call the Marlborough Wine District their home. 90% of all grapes are machine harvested, but there is still a demand for hand picking.
We can be in a position in Marlborough to make some of the finest wine in the world. And what we've been doing today, and also the hand pick, is really nurturing these grapes to the best that we can. So it takes a lot of attention to detail, and that's what we're trying to do from the vineyard all the way to the winery.
So I just tasted one of our berries here. We are looking for a really nice balance between the sugar and the acidity, the taste of the seed. We want like a slightly nutty, woody aroma, and it's perfect today.
So behind us, what we're doing is processing the fruit that has been handpicked this morning. Part of the reason that we decide to do it this way, we have a little bit more of that connection between vineyard and the winery. We're also able to process the fruit much more gently. This allows us to ensure that those beautiful bunches are preserved in whole form.
At the smaller boutique wineries, you might have 10 to 20 people hand-picking their grapes. But when you need to scale that up, the vineyards can bring in contracted hand-pickers. Here, there are over 100 people working at one vineyard to help pick the grapes. But with such a short and intensive window to harvest the perfect fruit, sometimes even that can't handle demand. So machine harvesters are used to speed up the picking process and help preserve the flavour and quality of the grapes before the season ends, with teams harvesting 24/7 during the peak periods. With all this demand, there are ambitious companies like Cropsey, Tato and Smart Machines who are beginning to innovate how the work is done. One of the innovations is the use of these autonomous mowers, defoliators and sprayers developed right here in Marlborough. These machines are also known as Oxen and are the world's first multitask autonomous viticulture tractor. Up to 4 of them at one time can be managed by one person on an iPad. As they are doing their main job, they're also collecting numerous other data points to optimise the work done on the vineyards throughout the year. Everywhere you look in Marlborough, companies are doing everything they can to look after the land and make their wine better.
What we have here is some of our cuves. This is involved in the production of our Tikoko Sauvignon Blanc. Each one of these barrels comes from a specific forest in France, and that imparts a different characteristic on the wine before being presented to our guests in our cellar door.
Over here we've just had some trucks tipping. They're arriving at the winery at around every 15 to 20 minutes, 24 hours a day. They've been hand harvested and machine harvested out in the vineyards. They arrive at the winery in 22 tonne to 25 tonne loads. Once it's in the bin, we're tipping the bin up, we're crushing the fruit or just splitting it, release the juice, and that's pumped into one of these presses you can see around us here. So just behind me you can see one of our tipping tanks starting to move. So what this does, it saves a lot of hand digging of skins, taking away the manual labour from this process. So this is technology developed locally in Marlborough.
We do contract winemaking, so we work with about 16 different clients. Each client's unique, they've got their own style of winemaking, so we just really get to see a unique interpretation of different varieties by different winemakers all year round. We've got our 500,000 litre tanks up here, and these are brand new this year. We'll be using them for the first time. Traditionally, New Zealand Wineries has had probably average size of 45,000 litres. So harvest, we've got a real camaraderie. So we just moved actually today into 24-hour shifts. So the guys will be working for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And during that time, you really create a bond between the staff around you. Everyone is willing to help everyone else out, get to know everyone and do things for other people. So really good atmosphere, different languages, getting to know people.
This industrial zone also contains a variety of supporting companies that serve the viticulture industry, ranging from engineering workshops that repair harvesters, to sheet metal manufacturers and fabricators, to logistics and supply warehouses. A number of nearby vineyards have direct pipeline connections to one of New Zealand's largest bottling plants, which is located on the corner of this strip of land. The pipeline you see in front of you is one of these links. From 2021 to 2022, the harvest grew by 54%, so it's lucky that there's continuous development to help Marlborough handle this constant growth. Wineworks is one of the main companies that deal with bottling, using high-capacity lines that utilise electro-pneumatic filling valve technology. The fastest bottling lines can output 12,000 bottles an hour, and when all the lines are working, Wineworks can put through up to 40,000 bottles an hour.
New technology like shuttles allow us to use the space in our warehouses far more efficiently, as we're able to stack pallets, multiple pallets deep. High-reach forklifts require an entire different skill set to drive. You're sitting on them sideways and looking over your shoulder. You're looking up 12.5 metres high. They've actually got a cool camera on the front, on the forks, so you can see where you're going. But yeah, they're very skilled operators, and putting pallets away up that high is no small feat. It's pretty awesome seeing them do what they do.
So a winery would use a service like Bragato Research Institute because when you go to a large winery, usually the smallest tanks that you'll see are about 5,000 litres. Now, if you're wanting to do an experiment and try something completely new, a new product, a new yeast, a different vineyard method, maybe a different spray, of course you don't want to be trialling it on 5,000 litres of wine. It's definitely much easier to send it to us. We have a team of staff who have all done enology degrees or are currently doing enology degrees, and it just takes the hassle out of it.
Marlborough has over 29,000 hectares of grapes. The job to research, develop, grow, harvest and market that volume is massive. Marlborough's ambition is to always strive to make better wine, and that's what drives this industry to be a world leader.